Namaste. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here for Mana TV International's Yoga Union Meditation Series. This is going to be episode 4 this time. And hopefully you'll stick with this and develop a beautiful personal meditation practice that you'll find one of the richest things in your life. So, first thing is please get seated comfortably. You can be sitting in a chair, sitting on a floor, sitting on a cushion. If you need to lie down, you can lie down. And if you need to stand up and move a little bit, you can stand up and move a little bit, whatever you need. But if you can sit still, comfortably, then go ahead and get settled nicely. You want to lift the chest up. It's nice if the spine is erect rather than bent over. That opens up the chest and lets energy flow more openly with the breath. It also aligns the central column around the spine, so the sushumna has more energy flowing through it. And you'll find once you've started to sit upright, that when you sit upright comfortably, you'll find that when you slouch, the body doesn't feel comfortable anymore. You want to sit upright. So make the effort to sit upright. You might wiggle loose a little, even twist to both sides. Stretch the jaw. Move the head around some to loosen the neck and shoulders, both directions. And begin to notice and work with the breathing. We are going to work with the breath right away in this session before we talk more. So, see how long you can hear this ringing, and then we're going to chant Om together. Please take in a breath and join me chanting Om. We'll raise the pitch this time, another breath in. Lower pitch again. A quick review. In yoga, selecting something on which to focus attention helps the mind come into a one-pointed state. And when the mind becomes one-pointed, it gets clear. It's like a mirror that can reflect your true self. When the mind's not clear, or if it's agitated, imagine putting your head over a stream of water or a body, a pool of water, And if the water's not clear, your reflection is all mucky. If the water's agitated, your reflection is warped. But if the water is still and pure, and you put your head over, you get an accurate, clear reflection. So when the mind becomes one-pointed, it gives us a clear reflection of what's real, what's true, our true self. We're going to work with breath today, and I'm going to ask you right now to play with this a moment. Make a sound by opening your mouth and breathing. Inhale, make the sound too. We can all do this, and when we do this, we're squeezing the glottis in the throat so that the throat gets a little thinner, and we can feel the air going out and in, and we make a sound. Now you can do it with the mouth open, but I'd rather you do it, and you'd rather, for your meditation, do it while you breathe through the nostrils. So inhale, and now as you exhale, squeeze the throat like that so you, no one else needs to hear this, but you can feel the air moving through the throat and hear it. Your eyes can be open or closed, but what you're doing with this practice is you're tuning into listening. You want to listen. So you may find closing the eyes useful here, because it helps to let your focus of attention move inward, which is what you'd like to do. A number of different scriptures say the same thing. The kingdom of heaven is within you. You want to go inward to find the infinite, to go beyond the limitations. So, keep listening to the breath. You're going to inhale, listening. It's nice to pause for a moment, and there's a lovely stillness that takes shape. And then as you exhale, squeeze the throat a little again so you can feel it and listen, letting it draw the attention inward. So when you're breathing like this, so you can feel and listen to the breath very easily, it's a grosser approach. But as you get steady, really focused on the breath moving in and out and what it feels like and what it sounds like, you can soften the breath as long as you can still stay focused on it. And you want to keep trying to listen to it even though it's no longer making an audible sound. Instead, you'll find that the sound is an inner ringing. This is known as the nada, the inner sound, the nada. For most, you'll find that as you hear the nada, your attention is somewhere in the vicinity of the right ear. And if you make this a regular practice, you'll find that this humming or hissing, which is a connection with the absolute beyond time and space, a connection with your true self and the self of all, reminding you that this is always the truth for you. You'll find that once you start listening to this, you'll be able to hear it all the time. You'll be able to hear it when you're talking, hear it when someone else is talking, and you're really paying attention and listening to them, it's still present. It's unending, ever present. A real connection with the absolute for us. Now, when you're breathing so you can hear the breath, the yogis tell us the sound of the breath is as we inhale, so, and as we exhale, ham. This is the universal mantra repeated all throughout the world, throughout time. It's the sound of the breath. Everyone is always repeating, so, ham. In Sanskrit, these are words. So is that, and ham is I am. So all of us are always repeating this beautiful mantra. That, I am, that, I am, that, I am, that, I am. So, ham. So, ham. It's a nice thing to think about if the mind's insisting on thinking about. However, if the mind comes to a stillness, and there's just a beautiful stillness, you may see an inner light or just hear the nada without generating thoughts, then don't have thoughts. Be in that beautiful presence. If you lose attention on the breath when you get still with it, then breathe actively again so you can hear it. And again, let it then quiet down and just stay focused on the listening. Listening drawing you inward beyond limitations to the infinite, the inner light, the truth. Many people find the breath, watching the breath or listening to the breath, those techniques, ones that they've fallen in love with and use as their principal approach to their meditation. One nice thing about the breath is it's always present. You can always focus on the breath. So, take in a breath and join me chanting Om. Now take a moment and just notice how the last few minutes are impacting you still, how it's shifted your state of consciousness, your perspective, your attitude. You'll always want to, at the end of your formal practicing, to take a moment before you get up and move around and shift to something else and try to embrace the meditative way that you've come to so you can go about your normal activities in this way, meditating. So we're going to talk about something a little different now. The gunas. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna refers to the gunas almost more than anything else that he refers to throughout the Gita, telling us that there are these three qualities of nature. Two of the chapters are focused on it, and it's mentioned in almost every other chapter, not quite all of them, but most. And I'll give you a heads up here, a little warning. Krishna says that if you can understand the gunas, you're in an enlightened state of consciousness. So if you find when we're talking about the gunas that you're getting a sense of them, but you don't really grasp them fully, that's quite normal. You need to be in a transcendental state of consciousness and in a beautiful clarity where the gunas aren't managing your mind and managing your activities, which is what the gunas do. It's the gunas that are operating everything in this created realm that we're part of in this body-mind form. And there's three gunas. We mentioned them last time. There's rajas, which is a busyness, an activity. And there's tamas, which is a dullness, a lethargy. And there's sattva, which is a equanimity, a balanced way. Now, yes, it's true that we'd like sattva to be the predominant guna, especially when we're meditating, because it's from sattva that we get the opening to step beyond and transcend. We talked last time about using sound. You could chant, and if you were starting a meditation and found yourself very active and busy with a lot of thoughts, I got this to do, that to do, you're being predominantly rajasic. That's what's dominating. And you want to move that into a sattvic zone so that you can meditate more easily. You could use some sound. And you could use the sound if you got up to meditate and found yourself in a tamasic way, dull, and just feeling lethargic. I don't want to bother with anything. This is dumb and stupid. You can chant some, and that will take you out of that, and again, move you into that balanced place, that equanimity. So, yes, we do what we can to have sattva predominant, but you need to know that being sattvic is not the objective. Being sattvic is merely the gateway to let us go beyond the gunas. You need to go beyond the gunas to be in a transcendental state and truly in a meditative consciousness. I mentioned you can use sound. You could do some pranayama, working with the breath. That too can move you into a beautiful sattvic way. In general, your diet, how you eat, and if you eat with a consciousness and taking your time, not rushing, paying attention when you chewing well, all of those things will serve you to develop a sattvic state more predominantly in your life. So the gunas are something to be aware of, so you notice it when you're sitting to meditate, and you can do a few things to get into a more sattvic place. That will make it so your meditation is more pleasant and has the opportunity to really move into a transcendental consciousness. Once again, just as a little review before we close, sit up and focus on listening to the breath one more time. This will start your listening. You can close the eyes. Now use the ujjayi breath. That's where you squeeze the throat so you can listen to the breath going in and out. Remember to pause for a moment before you change the direction of the breath. Inhale, listening, feeling. Pause. tune into the stillness, space. Exhale again, listening, feeling, and pause. Enjoying the stillness. A few more breaths like this, and let it quiet down once you're tuned to the inward listening. It's okay to focus toward the right ear and see if you can notice that humming, ringing, humming, however it may come for you. Don't worry if you don't hear it right away, but just being aware of it and listening within, you will start to hear that. You will. Okay, we're going to do a closing now. Please take in a breath and join me chanting Om. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Lead us from unreal to real. Lead us from darkness to the light. Lead us from the fear of death to knowledge of immortality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Bless all dimensions of being with peace and joy, love and light. Victory to that light of truth which overcomes all darkness. Victory to that light. Jai Sri Sadguru Maharaj Ki Jai. Thank you so much for joining in. Look forward to gathering again next time.